to pronounce your name? Sandor Fulop.
Sandor Fülop. For Germans, that's okay, because Frühstück, like...
Sandor Fulop.
Exactly. Wonderful.
So as part of this workshop on representing future generations, we have the pleasure to have with us Sandor Fulop. He's a lawyer and psychologist by training, and he's currently a public interest lawyer. But when in 2007 a decision was taken in Hungary to have an ombudsman for future generations, he ended up becoming the first Hungarian ombudsman for future generations in 2008. With a staff of around 40 people, he acted as an ombudsman for 4 years before resigning in 2012. He was so dynamic and his team was so dynamic that his opponent even referred to the Ombudsman's office as a parliamentary NGO. So let me ask you a first question, Sandor. Why are ordinary institutions not enough? So we have parliaments, we have independent courts, we have environmental NGOs, green parties and so on. So tell us, why do we still need a special institutions on top of all these to handle the issues of intergenerational justice?
Several reasons, I think, organizational, professional, constitutional, whatsoever. A couple of reasons, let me mention. In organizational terms, I think none of the mentioned organizations are focusing on networking. In other words, none of them is serving the rest in a way. So I think there is a necessary and there is a growing necessary for those institutions whose major ambition is to collect and synthesize opinions of other interested parties in a given conflict, in our case an environmental conflict, a local, national, regional, environmental or global conflict. So networking is a new element, I think, in the institutional development, and the best way is to establish this new networking kind of offices or institutions. The other issue could be that none of the mentioned institutions have the future generations in their bylaws or in their titles, and I think that's a huge moral plus, which helps a lot, which opens doors and hearts and makes the work morally more heavy and probably more effective. So it gives us and our partners the long range approach, the long range attitude, and it helps to put the environmental conflicts we handle into the proper context.
As an ombudsman, so you develop a set of very original approaches to handle the cases you are dealing with. So you mentioned a finality principle, an iterative methodology, also submitting your draft reports to a group of stakeholders and so on. So could you expand a little bit on this?
Once we talked about networking, I think that's just a continuation of the same topic. Even let alone our internal and external networking continues seek for allies and connections amongst the scientific and NGO world and political world and internationally as well. In the individual cases, we try to follow a similar approach. We went to the scene of the environmental conflicts we dealt with. We talked to each interested persons, local NGOs, local experts, local opinion makers, and we contacted several authorities, not only one. We were very much against this concept that one case should be handled only by one authority. Usually, environmental conflicts are complex enough that 3 or 4 authorities should jump on that and be in a hurry to solve that. It would not hurt, but very seldom is the case. So we proactively searched for these multiple arrangements. We try to involve in the cases several authorities and other role players, and with this set of interested organizations and individuals, we had the chance to have a more complex and more realistic picture about the conflict and about the solutions as well. So that was first, that stemmed from our role perception as a networking body, but also as a practical necessity, because we had a relatively small staff. We desperately needed the help of the partner organizations.
The Knesset Commissioner experience, analogous to your Hungarian experience, lasted from 2001 till 2006, so 5 years. And you were appointed in May 2008 and resigned in 2012, so 4 years. And of course there is a deputy ombudsman who seems to be a very able person still in action today. But so there are commissioners currently for the environment in Australia and New Zealand, in various places. But what do these two experiments, two real experiments, so the Hungarian and the Israeli one, tell us about how independent, resilient, or entrenched such institution can possibly be or should be, considering these two cases?
These two cases, I think, show that this is a very controversial institution, because the problem itself it's supposed to solve or handle is a controversial issue. Our economic and social life is against the survival of our culture. We consume our natural environment and resources, and that's it cannot go endlessly. So sooner or later, as a rule, appear some organizations like the Israeli with the head of Shlomo Shahom, and the Hungarian and a couple of others, which are in a way system alien, because they try to change the system, not radically, if it's possible and if we have time, or in an organic procedure, but surely our work went against the major views about administrative law and about governance as the ruling forces thought in the respective countries. So, and that led to conflicts as a rule. And I would not say that it's a success indicator if an organization is eradicated after 4 or 5 years, but it's definitely the sign that our counterparts realize that that's something different, that's something alien, and they have to step this way or the other.
Just for a quick conclusion, what makes you most desperate if you look at this issue, and what is your greatest hope in that respect?
We are desperate that our culture is endangered, not the living organizations, not the life on the earth, because the bacteria, which form 60% of the biomass on the earth, and very flexible, they are just waiting for their time. When we step down from the scene of the history, from the theater of the history, their time will come. But we would be sad about the fall of our civilization, and every science, every procedures show into that direction, and we are very short in time, as Dennis Meadows and others pointed out. We are losing the possibility, we are losing the peaceful conditions to work on prevention or at least resilience matters in connection with the system of ecological catastrophes which are ahead of us.
Thank you, Sandor.